Well, if you're planning on turning your life upside down by downsizing, we have with us a certified relocation specialist. She is the founder of Simple Easy Transition. Monica Back, welcome to What She Said.
Thank you very much for having me.
So what exactly does your company do?
Well, we take the stress out of moving for seniors and their families. So we help them through the whole downsizing process. So if you decided to sell your home, we'll help you through the process from start to finish in the sense of coming in, deciding what you're taking, packing you up, moving you, unpacking, staging your home, and getting rid of all the unwanted items.
So, Christine, you downsized from, your family home into a condo. Is this the service you wished you'd used?
I think what I would have liked is to have someone to sit down and talk to about what you do, because some people do it in 3 stages or 4 stages, and some people just go, I went straight from thousands of square feet to a condo, and maybe I should have done something in between. Do you have that service where you talk to people about what the options are? Because we have some alarming stats in this country.
Yes, we sit down with you and decide what is your objective. And also, when is your moving date? I think that's the key. When are you deciding to move? Are you going to be moving a year from now? Are you moving 6 months from now? Or are you moving next week? So a lot depends on when you're actually moving. And then we'll sit down and go through all the steps from step A to step Z of what needs to be done. And there may be certain steps that you want to do and certain steps that we will take care of for you.
Now, Christine, you just said there are some alarming statistics. What statistics are we
Well, for
talking
example,
about?
the fact that there are now more people in Canada over the age of 65 than there are under 15. So we are aging at a growing pace. Is there enough place for all of us?
No, there isn't. There is a tsunami that is coming. The aging population, the boomers, is increasing. As you said, there are more seniors than there are children under the age of 15. We're not ready for this. We're not thinking about what's going to happen when I'm 75, what's going to happen to me when I'm 85. And we're living longer. We have clients from the ages of 70 to 105. And sometimes
105?
Yes, we moved
Wow.
a woman into a senior residence, and she was 105 years old. And that was the first move that she's made in 60 years.
Well, Monica, Stats Canada says by 2035, Canada will have 9 million seniors over the age of 64 and 3 million children under the age of 15. Where are they going to go? Is real estate keeping up with that? The development of the proper kind of accommodation? I mean, are we all going to be living with our kids?
I think there's a number of things that are happening. I think the government now is beginning to see what's happening. They haven't planned. We've got people waiting for long-term care beds right now. We've got clients in hospitals not knowing where they're going. Are they going into long-term care? Are they going into a senior residence and pay for private care there? It's a big flux because we haven't been talking about it. Families are not talking about the what-ifs. What if mom and dad fall down the stairs? What if dad dies before mom? What's going to happen to mom? Do we have the funds to put mom into private care, or does mom have to move in with us? We've got to start asking these questions. I think we can't depend on the government to answer these questions for us. We have to be in charge of our seniors.
Well, as we're the sandwich generation, right? We have
Absolutely.
our kids, we have, in some Christine's case, our grandchildren, as well as our parents. So I find it very confusing just understanding the different levels of care for senior residents. Take us through those.
Well, you have the first level of care is the client that is independent. Mm-hmm. They can get up in the morning, they can take care of themselves, they administer their own medication. They're there because they need the social activity of seeing people, talking to people. They don't want to take care of their homes anymore. They have their meals prepared for them, and they can continue on with their life. Then you have got the assisted living floors. Those are clients who may be having the starts of Alzheimer's or dementia, or they've had a stroke and they have to be in a wheelchair, that kind of thing. So they need assistance. Not all senior residences have those floors. So when you're searching for a senior residence for your mom, you've got to do your homework. You've got to figure out where your parents, where their health is right now and what it's going to be in 5 years. Then after that, there are some residences that your parent can stay there and you can bring in your own care as their.
That sounds expensive.
It is. It is. And that's why I'm saying that we've got to start talking about finances. What is it going to cost us to live in places like this?
Or what's an average, like monthly? Is it weekly or monthly that they're
It is monthly. I'd say it ranges, depending on the residence, but depending on the organization, from $3,000 to $10,000 a month. Depends on where you're looking.
Yep, some of the private
Wow.
ones are very expensive.
Yeah, and there, when you talk about, and most of the senior residences are private. Then you have long-term care, which is when your parent no longer can take care of themselves completely, and then this is subsidized by the government.
Let me ask you, when would you start to think about this and plan this a little bit? What age?
I think you need to start thinking about this by the time you are set in your 70s. You've got to start thinking about, where am I at right now? Where's my finances? Am I going to downsize? Am I going to move into a condominium? Am I going to move into a townhouse? Am I, what's going to happen to me when I'm 85? Where's my health right now? Am I suffering from diabetes? Am I, what's going on with me, and where do I see myself? And you have to look at it in, say, 10 years, from 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100. We're living longer.
Well, there are some key questions that you sent us. And I'm just looking through them now. I mean, do I spend most of my time in just a few rooms of my house, right?
And that's the thing you've got to ask yourself when you're living in your home. How many rooms do I live in my house? Most people live in their bedrooms, their living rooms, kitchen. That's where they spend their time.
Bathroom.
And the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yes. That's where they spend their time. Are you entertaining?
Do you need all that china?
Do you need all that china? Do you
need all
need that
space?
big living room, dining room space?
Mobility issues.
And
Can you climb the stairs?
Exactly.
right?
Are there mobility issues? Do I need a chairlift? If I stay here for the next 20 years, I'll have to get a chairlift. Things like that.
And general household maintenance. Do you still want to do that?
Exactly. And it's not only the house, it's the garden.
Yeah, well, I was just
The
going to
snow
say
shoveling.
that was the thing that decided me. I thought, really? I mean, I have about half an acre or whatever, and am I really going to be staining the deck and mowing this grass and digging those beds for who? Nobody's going to see it.
Absolutely. And I think that's what times you have to sit down with, pen and paper and think of how much it's costing me to live in this house and the maintenance of this house. So should I be moving into a condo? Should I be moving into a townhouse?
So people can connect with you and you help them through all this?
We help them through the process. The first thing with our first consultation is that we find out where they're at, what's going on with them, what is stressing them out right now, and ask them what is their objective at the end of this. I think those are the key things to find out what's good. And sometimes there are health issues that we have to be aware of with the client.
Do you ever consult with them and their children at the same time? Because
Yes.
it seems to be something that people
a good
don't.
idea, yeah.
They don't really want to involve their children. We've had this over and over again where people don't want to talk to their kids about money or wills or anything.
And you brought up a very good point. I think this is part of the problem right now, is that we're not having these discussions with our parents. Our parents have been our parents for all their lives, and all of a sudden they don't want to be dependent on their children. But when speaking to your parents, I think you have to think of it as empowering them, talking to them and giving them the information so they can help, they can be part of the solution and not be the problem.
Fascinating stuff. You'll have to come back and tell us more, Monica Black. It's simpleeasytransition.com.
Correct. Thank you so much for having me and talking about the aging process.
Thank you. And this is what she said on The Jewel. Stay with us.
She might just change